So we've been hearing about a lot of enthusiasm about the promise of the future. I mean, for decades. Well, guess what, folks? The future is here now. Take a look.
Nuclear energy goes to work, not destroying, but serving mankind. The power lines of tomorrow may also derive their electricity from that source of all power, the sun. In the electronics age, the development of giant computers, electronic brains, has been a key development. These incredibly complex machines are the mechanized geniuses of the 20th century.
Humanoid robots. My friends. The ChatGPT moment for general robotics is just around the corner.
All right, you saw it, folks. We've come a long way in the last 70 years. And despite Jensen Huang's excitement last night, those tech stocks popped early. They're selling off now. By the way, this is exactly what happened last year. This day was the start of CES. Every tech name was rocking and rolling. Some of them were up huge. The next day, a lot of red. The next day, a lot of red. The week was a lot of red, but guess what? That's selling on the news. The excitement part of here. Essentially, I think what we got yesterday from Jensen was a roadmap. He gave investors the blueprint and maybe even a sort of timeline on how this thing is going to work, right? Of course, a lot of focus on autonomous vehicles and robots, saying that autonomous vehicle, the revolution has arrived. And you just heard him talk about ChatGPT, sort of moment like that for robotics just around the corner. So let's bring in legendary early investor Cody Willard. Cody, first, let me just get your thoughts on the presentation. You like that video, right? The 1950 video?
You know what? I listen to radio classics. I've been reading Isaac Asimov. I love science fiction from the 40s, 50s, and 60s because a lot of it is happening.
It's amazing.
Here right now.
It's amazing.
And even that little clip you played, nuclear revolution. It's happening right now.
It really, really is amazing. And so it feels like, and I know there's a hype factor every time, but I tell people every time you feel like there's a hype factor, know one thing, every day we do get closer to reality. Last night it felt like we took a big leap toward it.
No, that's right. I mean, and we are living in the future. It is incredible that we, even watching old Star Trek, we now have the tricorder on our, basically an iPad, right? I mean, you can measure people's health. You can do all kinds of things. We're living in the science fiction future. And if mankind can dream it, mankind can make it. We're waiting for, what is it, when you zap yourself up and down from space. So that's not
that's
here
the last
yet.
one. That's the last one. This is where we are now, generative. This is the ChatGPT moment. It came out in the November 30th press release. No one thought much of it, and it changed the world. Digital marketing, content creation. Now, the agent stuff, Salesforce.com stock was getting hammered. They came out with these AI agents, one of the hottest stocks out there, coding assistant, customer service, patient care. So this is where we are now, and this is right around the corner.
Well, right, and all of this is actually in real time happening, right? Coca-Cola is not yet making commercials using AI generative technology, but they are starting to experiment with it, and within 2 or 3 years, they'll upload every
I love the stuff on X, that these little videos, particularly the political ones. They're
it's
amazing.
Hilarious.
I mean, they're amazing.
Right, and that will be happening on normal commercials. They'll even be more personalized for you as you're going through your filter and watching whatever your content is. Netflix will be making personalized movies where your face will be on the main character. They'll make all kinds of new movies faster, and the content creation, within 3 to 5 years, that will be a regular thing. That'll be an AI-generated movie.
So AI agents, right? I read 800 million people will lose their jobs because of them. I know you're wondering that you're not a Luddite, you're the exact opposite. We should be embracing the investment opportunities, but it won't be seamless, will it?
I think it will be more seamless than people picture. Like right now, one of the big things you keep hearing is that coders, software developers are not going to be needed like they used to be because AI is creating the code. But that reminds me maybe of the year 2000 when people were like, we don't need paper anymore because everybody reads email. It actually, for years, accelerated paper demand because you were printing out more things. There will be more software developers in 5 years than there are right now. I'll throw down the gauntlet on that.
Really? All right, because my granddaughter is still taking coding classes. All right, AI agents, self-driving cars, robots, flying taxis, quantum computing. You always cover all of this stuff, and yet you still say, as an investor, stick with these big names, stick with the Teslas, the NVIDIAs, and the SpaceX.
Right, especially like you talk about quantum computing, for example, and I think it'll be NVIDIA or Google that will actually conquer quantum computing. It's not going to be one of those startup qubit.
These
QBT
small
thing.
names though get sometimes, like today, AUR is up 40%, right?
Aurora.
Because they're going to be
self-driving.
Right.
Yes.
So I mean, Nvidia, Nvidia, how many acquisitions they make last year? 100? I mean,
no, not that many, but yeah,
they
I mean,
made a
look,
lot,
they're acquisitive, absolutely.
Yeah.
They bolt parts on, and look, but beyond that, they have the best development, they have the best developers, the best technology. Taiwan Semiconductor is always going to be not always, but for years to come, Taiwan Semiconductor will be the dominant client for the maker of all the chips for all of these companies. So much of it is harder than you think. Let's go to self-flying cars and stuff.
Right.
Tesla is slowly but surely probably going to dominate that market in, say, 5 to 10 years when it actually gets legalized.
So the firm that downgraded Tesla today and put a little pressure on that stock and the rest of the technology, they're just being too short-sighted.
Look, they're always downgrading Tesla for something or another. And look, I mean, I wrote that book. I brought a few extra copies
I showed people last time.
It's the ultimate Tesla vision is that within, say, 15 to 20 years, you could have billions of Tesla robots generating recurring revenue, very high margins. You'll have self-flying cars, but not self-driving cars, and those margins will be insane. And so, I'm looking at a $30 trillion market cap in 15 years, as I've been saying for the last 2-3 years.
My man.
Great to see you, as always,
As always,
Thank you for having
Cody.
me.